being single can be really tricky. And today we're gonna focus on 5 best things you can do when you're single. So let's get started. First of all, being single is okay, is completely fine. Experiencing a breakup is not fun, for sure. Seeking romantic relationships is also okay. Those are just matters of time. But when you're single, there are so many things you can do. So first of all, you have a chance to get to know yourself, to know your true self without actually thinking about anybody else. Because very often we get into relationships and we have to respect each other's needs. And what happens usually that we often forget about our needs. And then we start with little things, like for example, you used to go to the gym in the mornings, but then you prefer to cuddle one morning and then another morning, then the morning later, and then boom, your routine is broken. And unfortunately, it happens really often. So now it's the best time when you have an opportunity to learn about yourself and ask, what do you truly want? Isn't it amazing to get to know yourself? Discover your boundaries, discover your personality, what you want. Because romantic relationships is just a small sector of our life. Let me tell you, have you checked what about your hobbies? What about your lifestyle? How are your family relationships? How about your friends? Did you get all their friendships you want? Or you considering to explore the new crowd? So now it's your chance. Then traveling, career goals, self-development, goals about your health and appearance. Like there are so many things we need to question yourself. How do you want to make our life better? And when you're single is the best and perfect time to do it, because you don't have to consider another person in this picture. All you need is to truly ask yourself, what are your goals? What do you want? How do you want to get there? And once you focus on this and get yourself established, that would be so much easier for you to build healthy romantic relationships as well. Because for a self-sufficient person who truly understands what he wants, it's out of question when you're in relationships whether you're going to lose or not lose yourself. Because unfortunately it happens a lot these days. Women get into relationships, then they decide, okay, I need to take care of my boyfriend, then my husband, then my kids. And then at some point, you forget who you are. You forgot, like, where was it? How did I get here? So in order to build really healthy relationships, now being single is the perfect time to set up your personal foundation. So make sure you focus on yourself really well. Instead of just thinking about, oh my God, what a past mistakes I did. How about that? I miss my ex. Why is this guy unavailable? Do I have to think about my trust issues? Like there are so many things and so many questions out there. Just think about yourself. Be selfish for a while. It will pay off a lot, trust me. Just thinking about, no, I need to, guys, somebody. Listen, you don't need anybody to complete you. You are a totally complete person. Yeah, of course, being in relationships is great. Being in romantic relationships, falling in love, it's awesome. But in order to be happy, you need to be happy yourself first. So thing number 2 is set your goals really clearly. Make a life plan. Evaluate your values. What is there? Like, what are your goals in every sector of your life? And have you made a plan how to reach them? Or you're just thinking, okay, maybe one day I'm gonna, like, I want $1 million, or I want $10 million, or I want to learn French and go to Paris and learn how to ski. Whatever idea you have, what have you done to get there? What actions are you supposed to make in order to get there? Even for the small things, we need to plan and get ourselves there. So now is the perfect time to actually make these plans for yourself, because you don't have to consider anybody else. You only have your goals. Because once you get into relationships, and if you're not a completely selfish person, you would take your partner's decisions and goals into account. And if you don't have your personal plan, your goals will just disappear. But if you have the plan, then you would avoid this problem. And you would be moving towards your goals, and it would be so much easier to meet your person. Because we often get along well with people who have similar goals and similar values, similar interests. So how are you supposed to do it if you don't know what your goals are and how to get there? The thing number 3 is getting reconnected with your friends. Now is the best time when you can hang out with your crowd, get to know your friends better, maybe reconnect with your friends from childhood, or from school, from university, whatever. It's so cool to call an old friend and see how are they doing. Because once we get into relationships, it's also kind of a side effect, because very often couple either get into a bubble where they stop communication with everybody else, or the opposite, they start hanging out only with the friends of the guy. And then you're like, one girlfriend called you, another called you, and then you're like, yeah, next week, okay, let's meet later. And then boom, they stop calling you at some point. But if you build your friendship strong now, you wouldn't lose this connection. And you would have these connections with people who would have your back. Also, developing real respect and support in friendship relationships really give a great influence on the romantic relationships. Because when we see that people are surrounded by great friendships, you kind of see, okay, this person might be really nice because so many people are around him or her. So why not to be this person surrounded by amazing friends? And I'm not talking about getting surrounded by toxic friends who are putting you down, who are not supporting your goals, with whom you often feel humiliated. No, these you need to cut off immediately. I'm telling you about real friendships with respect and support. These people who will hold you back in case you need them. And you will be there for them as well. So now is the best time to get reconnected with your friends. Take this and enjoy. Also, it's an opportunity to make new friends very easily, because you don't have to think about your partner's interests. You can go and check anything. You can go to rock climbing. You can try role playing. For these gamers, like online gamers, they have this crazy role plays where people have to wear costumes and run in the fields. I've never tried, but I have a friend who does it, and it sounds really fun. So why not to explore new things? This way you can build new interests and you can make new friendships, which might become lifetime friendships. The thing number 4 is building your personal routine. Oh my God, this is the best about singlehood, that you don't have to think about anybody else. You can wake up whenever you need, go to gym whenever you need, do your stuff whenever you need. This is the perfect time, because once you, for example, especially when you're moving in with someone, your routine breaks and it's very hard to sustain as when you're single. You can adjust some certain things, but very often we have to ditch some things. If, for example, you're being messy, no, you can't be messy. Better not. But you can do whatever you want, for real. And you can watch whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can go to gym whenever you feel comfortable, or going for a walk, or meeting a friend at any time of the day without actually checking in with your partner. Oh, hon, what time am I gonna be home? Okay, can you pick up some veggies? And you're late from work. These things, of course, can be adjusted in the relationships. But while you're single, it's so much easier. It's literally so much easier to live your life. So take it as it is now, because if you build your best lifestyle and routine now, it will be much easier for you to sustain it when you get into relationships. Because if now your schedule is really messed up, once you get into relationships, probably you will be picking up your boyfriend's routine. And then if, for example, you break up, it would be devastating to you because you never had your personal routine. So now is the time to build it and make your personal routine which will work the best way for you. Make sure that you follow your best interests because you are your number one person, and making your personal routine and following it is really pleasant because romantic connection is really nice. But being self-sufficient and having your personal foundation, which includes the personal routine, this will boost your confidence and will help you to find your true self. Thing number 5 is learning your boundaries. Now it's the best time because very often relationships actually break because of boundaries. There are so many gray zones. And when we're getting closer in romantic relationships, we're supposed to, it's trust, it's great. It's like you embracing everything. And then boom, you're losing yourself. Because there were so many gray zones and you were not sure how to react on it. You didn't know because you didn't establish your personal boundaries and your non-negotiables. So now is the time to take a pen and write down your personal checklist. What's okay and what's not okay to do. For example, it's not okay to raise the voice. It's not okay to disappear for a few days. Whatever you experienced before, just make this list and think about, take a week for it. But really give it a thought because this will help you to understand how to communicate not just in romantic relationships, but with co-workers, friends, family, because you would know, okay, this is not okay for you. And you wouldn't have to question yourself. You wouldn't need to waste even a second to, is it okay or not okay with me? Because you already thought of it and now you know what's okay and what's not okay for you. So do it now while you're single, because then when you get into romantic relationships, you wouldn't lose yourself and you would be able to have clarity all the time and ensure your interests and needs are met in the relationships. So make sure to check in your boundaries now. There are many of them. There are sexual boundaries, physical boundaries, financial boundaries, intellectual boundaries, ton of them. And about each of them you need to think, matter of fact, because if you don't ask yourself these questions, who would? I don't know your boundaries. You don't know my boundaries probably. You don't know what's okay for me because probably what's okay for me is not okay for you and vice versa. So make sure to check in with yourself because this is the only time when you can do it. And let me tell you one thing. If you follow all of these things, if you really get to know yourself, you would be, oh my God, so much closer to build a real healthy relationships. And again, what I said in the beginning, it's okay to be single. It's okay to be self-sufficient. It's actually great and worth it. Romantic relationships is a small part of our life. We have so many more things to explore. So make sure to take care of yourself, respect your time, and wish you the best day. My name is Katya. I'm a relationship coach. Wish you lots of love.